gosh. That felt nice. Whew. It's a nice one. Not bad. Yeah, we're solid chunky one. On the jig. It is springtime bassing. Oh, it feels good to be back in the boat. We've been locked up with ice all winter, and we are finally back in the boat again, chasing a little largemouth. Oh, it feels good. Things are finally warming up. We got turkeys gobbling, birds are chirping. It is springtime bassing at its finest. This is probably the warmest day we've had on these neck of the woods this year so far. And that means one thing, bass are headed up the hill, as they say. They're headed up shallow. Where we're at here, we've been covered with ice now for a couple of months, and these fish they're ready to get up shallow. They got spawning on the brain, but before that, they got eaten on the brain. This is such a fun time of year to target bass up shallow. You can really catch fish a lot of different ways this time of year. I've got, as you can see, a whole bunch of rods on the deck with all kinds of fun things, from dragging baits, moving baits, and everywhere in between. And today we're just gonna break down this lake and just kind of see where things are at, see what bite we can get dialed into. Hopefully find, you know, 1-2 things that are really working well and, you know, catch a bunch of fish. But we're just gonna give you guys a rundown on just springtime bassing. So let's talk about breaking down a lake early springtime bassing. This is the first time that this boat has touched water this year, so we're just kind of going with the flow of things. And at first glance, the first thing that I always check when it's my first time, well, really any time I'm on the water, is water temperature. We're still pretty chilly. 46, it's kind of been going between 46 and 50 depending on where we're at. That's pretty darn cold. These bass are real cold, just holding them and you can feel it. But with that, one thing that can help you key in where to find them is looking for warmer water. It's pretty common to see bass, again, in the springtime when water's 50-ish, somewhere around there. So looking for areas like that, I love to look for the corners of lakes. As you can see here, we got a bunch of marsh up along the bank, a bunch of marsh grass, and you can see the bottom. It's real dark bottom. Again, dark holds heat. Those bass want to find heat. So when you get the corners of lakes where there's the land that kind of naturally forms a bowl, holds that water, it's often shallow and often has dark bottom. That combination bass love to gravitate towards in early spring. Golly, whooping my hiney. Solid one. He knocked slack at it. That was crazy. Not a giant, but another just thick, good one. Look at old red lips there. The little vibrating jig in the snout. Just kind of covering some water. That's kind of the name of the game here. Really, till we find the mother lode, just kind of covering ground in this mid-depth range. It seems like they don't want to be quite on the bank yet, but they're definitely not out too deep. A lot of these fish seem to be coming in what I would guess is that 4 to 7 foot range. We've just got mapping and sonar up here. Taking it old school, just kind of breaking down a lake and using our mapping just to get a look at the spawning areas around the lake, or where I'm guessing will be the spawning areas. Oh my gosh, that was cool. Oh my gosh. Dude, look how he's got it. Oh my gosh. What? Take a peek at that. He's got an 8-inch chop block folded. That was so cool. Oh my gosh, I watched him eat it. Look at that gorgeous little lay down there. Just a picture perfect spot. Again, fish staging up, getting ready to hit the bank. Just kind of going through a plethora of baits here. We got moving baits, we got dragging baits, we got it all. Just kind of breaking down a lake. Again, this is our first time out this year, but it has been a blast. And look what he's got hiding down the chute there. Struggling to get it out because he ate it so good. Look at that, big chop block. Wow. Springtime bassing, man, can't beat it. So just to give you guys a little bit more of the rundown into the arsenal that we've got on the deck here, a lot of what I would consider to be my springtime favorites, baits that I grew up throwing and baits that I'm still throwing just because I just love catching bass on them in the springtime, and they work really well early springtime. What's in my hand right now is just a vibrating jig. This is really good for just covering water and just catching fish, but again, when I'm trying to break down a lake, really is nice to be able to throw a moving bait that has a lot of drawing power. These fish are gonna come grab this thing from a mile away. Again, helps me figure out kind of what area of the lake is being productive. And then once I get into those areas, I can break it down a little bit further. I've got a jig on another rod here. That's one that's awesome for once you find an area that is working, fish are biting. That jig is really good for slowing down, picking apart structure more methodically, just dragging it along nice and slow. Caught a couple good ones today doing that. A jig is obviously something that gets bit from January to December, but it seems like the springtime especially, there's just something to that. I just love dragging a jig in the spring. And another one of those baits that's another good moving bait and is really fun once they get up a little bit shallower, a soft jerk bait. Just rigging that on a fluke style hook. Again, that is such a fun bait in the springtime when they get up 2-4 feet of water. We've caught a couple on it today, but it seems like the majority are out a little bit deeper. And we got the good old glide bait on the deck too. It's one of those baits where, again, these fish, right now their mind is on two things: getting ready to spawn, but most importantly, eating. And that glide is such a good way to draw out some of the biggest fish that are in the area. Just a big profile bait like that, that glide there is 8 inches. This is the biggest that they're gonna be, and there's no better bait to get a reaction out of some of the biggest fish in the lake than a glide bait. So to give you guys just a little bit of a rundown on the setups that we've got on the deck here. This one here, again, this is the vibrating jig. Super typical vibrating jig setup. 7/4, medium, heavy, moderate. Something that's got a good taper. You can see there that rod just loads up, keeps those fish pinned. This happens to be a Voltec reel. This thing casts this chatterbait a country mile, covering these flats. I can cover a bunch of water quick. And as far as the line goes, just a 17-pound fluorocarbon. For the jig setup, a 7/2 medium heavy. Have a braid on that one just because it's just nice just to whack them on braid sometimes. This water's pretty dingy, they can't see that braid. And for that soft jerkbait setup, just a 7/1 medium heavy. Same thing again, 17-pound fluoro. Pretty much across the board, these combos are pretty universal. You can do a bunch of different things with these rods. Super good, just do all rods. Oh, I still got them. Oh, come here. Oh. That was cool. It was ugly, but he's in the boat. The old jig. That's why it's kind of nice to have it on straight braid there. It's a pretty wicked tree. Horsed him right out of there. Not a bad one. Just want to give you guys a rundown here, looking at a map, kind of breaking down these, again, early springtime areas and kind of what it looks like on a map. Some of the first areas that pop out, these shallow areas. Again, these are where they're going to spawn. It's shallow. The water is going to get warm there fast. Has that perfect combination. You can see that there. Again, a shallow area. You can see that dark blue kind of leading up to a shallow area. And again, corners like I was talking about. You see these corners here? Those are gonna get a lot of sunlight. They're on the north end of that lake. They're gonna get a lot of sunlight. They're gonna heat up fast. So those are some of the things I look for. Corners, shallow bays, areas around spawning flats. Like this edge here, they're probably gonna gang up there before they head up in here. So again, just thinking of areas where they'll stage in and around shallow spawning flats. Works really well for finding bass in the early springtime season. There we go. A solid one. Just had one whack me there. He could have been the culprit. Drop the poles down and whack. Not a giant one, but that's about picture perfect of where he should be. Again, warm water, springtime bass. Put the two together, you're oftentimes gonna catch a couple.